Oh, there we go.
And now, the host of Aaron's Hour, Aaron Phillips.
Hey, good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Aaron's Hour, coming to you live from my home studio in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And joining me on screen today, although he just disappeared because he missed his cue, back in Las Vegas, going to hold down the fort with me today, Mr. John JPEG Styles. Mr. JPEG, what's happening there in Vegas land?
Say the secret word and get a, yeah.
What is the word of the day? The word of the day is what? Plethora. That's right, plethora. By the way,
You know how many times I hear that a day now?
Is that crazy? All of a sudden,
Everybody, I swear to God, everybody on television is using that word, and it's just
I love it.
Even in commercials.
I love it. I love it because you know what? We started a trend and we didn't even know. We should have patented the word. We should have patented the word.
We are trendsetters.
We are, absolutely. Now, by the way, it is Labor Day weekend, so I am darning my work gloves and my hammer just to honor and thank everybody who helped represent Labor Day. Of course, we're going to talk about Labor Day as part of our Vegas Unwrapped 2.0 here in a little bit, but it is traditionally a 3-day holiday, 4-day holiday for a lot of people. But before we get to all of that, as always, thank you for watching us. I got to make sure I hold on to this hammer really well, because if I let it go as I'm coming forward, I'm looking for a new computer, and Eileen will kill me with this hammer. So we want to thank everybody for watching here on Facebook. Of course, you got us here on my channel, Aaron's Hour Show. You got WWDB-TV Las Vegas on Facebook. If you like YouTube, that's okay. We love you there too. Aaron's Hour Show and or the WWDB-TV LV. Now, don't forget, on all of these 4 channels, if you missed the show live, you can go back in any one of these platforms and watch the show at any time for your convenience and catch all the craziness, silliness, and information that we provide. Why? Aaron's Hour is now coast to coast, because I get to talk about things not only in Vegas, but I get to now introduce the world to the Virginia Beach, Norfolk, and this whole area over here as well. A lot of stuff going on. And of course, in a couple of days.
Is it true that you had to leave Las Vegas because of the FBI?
Under the Witness Protection Program, I cannot confirm nor deny.
All right. That's what I thought. Yeah.
If I tell you, I have to kill me. So anyway, with that, so also too, what's our time now to getting up on Roku?
85 to 30 hours.
Okay, so within a couple of days.
Usually within a day or two.
Perfect. Within a couple of days, if you like watching streaming stuff, Roku, download. If you don't have it, you certainly should. Why? Because there's a plethora of options on the WWDB TV network on Roku. Not only all of these shows, Thoughts Count Anywhere, Doing It with Styles, Mona's got 3 somethings going on. There's so many shows on there, I can't keep track. And by the way, I believe the return, John, correct me if I'm wrong, 184 Days Teaching Truths is starting to simmer. Are we not getting them back out there with some reruns, getting everybody ready to go? Yes?
Yep, Purdue.
So they're back on the air. I believe they're rerunning and re-airing their shows with Dr. Mills, who was on towards the end of their season, as they are now getting ready for new school year and talk about what's coming out. So there's great stuff. Check it all out. Now, today we have also, not only am I going to talk about Labor Day, but the balance of the show. This past week, a good friend of mine and John's, and really the acting community here, coast to coast, lost a member this past week, Wayne Worley. He passed away at 69 last week after battling an illness for a couple of years. And so today's show, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to talk about Wayne, share some stories. Myself, Kitty Schuler, and Wayne, we did a show on GoldenNetwork.tv, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with and have heard through either my conversations or WWDB TV. You've seen Tema Hammond on the network on places. We did a show called Keep Talking. We did about 7 episodes when the network first got started. And really was just an improv conversational show. We picked topics, or topics were given to us. I would kind of MC and lead the 3-ring circus between myself, Wayne, and Kitty. Hopefully we'll get some call-ins. If you knew Wayne, worked with Wayne, want to share a story about Wayne, please call us 702-992-3207. Thank you, Chief. Hope you're feeling well, my friend. Let me know. Let me know that you're doing good with all the heat and everything. Give us a call. Share your stories about Wayne. If you see the show, please share it. We're going to have some fun. We're also going to share some clips from Keep Talking as well, so you get to see what kind of craziness we did on that show. And I felt bad for Kitty after a while on that show because the poor lady, once Wayne and I got started with our silliness and craziness, poor Kitty was in the middle trying to keep things under wraps and under control. So good. All right, Chief, I'll see you in a couple of weeks, my friend. So I'm very much excited, looking forward to seeing you and getting caught up with you in person. All right, with that, today's Vegas Unwrapped 2.0 is going to be based around Labor Day. So here we go. Let's get started with Vegas Unwrapped.
With a nod to the past and an eye to the future, here is Aaron Phillips with Vegas Unwrapped 2.0.
That's right. Vegas Unwrapped 2.0. Labor Day is always first Monday of September. Is that not right, John?
Right arm.
Right arm. That means, what's that? September 2nd is Monday's date, correct?
Right arm.
And I believe for a guy, when you live in Vegas, what's our lucky number in Vegas?
77.
There you go, Mr. JPEG. John Styles' birthday is Monday, September 2nd, Labor Day.
How many people remember the TV show about 77?
Sunset Strip?
Yep.
There you go. I didn't even watch it. It was a tad before my time, but I knew of the show.
That's right.
This brain is filled with so much stupid stuff. I can't begin to tell you. So happy birthday, my friend.
That answers a lot of questions.
It certainly does. And you think this hammer was only for nails, didn't you? So happy birthday to you. When I get out there in about 2 weeks, hopefully we'll connect for a drink and whatnot. We'll share our birthday toast. All right. Let's talk about Labor Day. Labor Day, Labor Day is a tradition for a lot of different reasons. And depending upon when you were born and grew up and started thinking about Labor Day, it could be everything from the unofficial end of summer to what used to be the traditional Jerry Lewis Muscular Dystrophy Telethon, to barbecues, to the start of many, many things, or the end of many things. Well, I'm here to tell you the history and origin. You probably know this, John, because you're 77 minus this and that. You were born around the time the holiday really kind of became official, like maybe 20 years, maybe 10 years ahead of you. It was already official.
Yeah, it was the early 40s. I believe, if I'm not
exactly.
mistaken.
Exactly. So this was already a national holiday. Hello, and Nielsen, long time no see out there, my friend. Thank you so much for jumping in there today. Good to see you. Chief wishes you a happy birthday there, John. If Marilyn Monroe or any Marilyn Monroe impersonators are currently listening, I would like to call right now, 702-992-3207, and do live on the air a happy birthday, Mr. President, or in this case, Mr. Styles, birthday song. I would love that, and I will get your information. I will personally send you a book and a shirt and all that stuff. Call in. I want to hear the best Marilyn Monroe impersonation of a happy birthday song to Mr. Styles. All right. So let's talk about Labor Day.
I'm not answering the phone.
Well, you know what? That's all right. I do know somebody in town. I don't know if I think she's traveling, but I do know somebody in town that does do a Marilyn Monroe. And had I thought about it before this moment, I'd have set it up. But of course, I did.
Give her the address to the studio. Tell her, come on down. We'll do it on camera.
There you go. All right. So Labor Day. Now we have Memorial Day. Let's not get confused between Memorial Day and Labor Day. Let's not get totally confused with May Day, which actually was the precursor, actually, in a lot of ways, to Labor Day and is still celebrated. But let's talk about this. Labor Day, of course, is a federal holiday in the United States, always celebrated on the first Monday. Now, keep in mind, calendars rotate and move. So this year, Monday is the 2nd, happens to be Labor Day, John's birthday, but next year could be the 5th, could be the 1st, could be the 10th. So keep an eye on that first Monday every year. It will change. And it is to honor and recognize the American labor movement and the works of contributions of laborers to the development and achievements in the United States. So the buildings that we sit in, the roads, the farmland, the whatever, all of these laborers that help grow and help become the country and the location that we are, we still honor them. Now, this is still an ongoing holiday. Why, John? Because we still have laborers out there working, right?
You know what? And they do not get enough credit. The whole generation now that's gone into debt to go to college. And I have always been a proponent of go to a trade school. I mean, there are apprentice programs out there that, for electrical and plumbing and HVAC and all of that, where you actually get paid to go to school
I
while
know,
you're
imagine.
learning, and you can come out so you're debt free. And we're always going to need people to do things like that.
And with the skill, exactly right. And
Right.
and I've thought about that a lot. My dad, he had his own business for many years, but my uncle, his brother, was a master electrician. And there was some reason that my uncle didn't want to bring him into the union. There were too many negative things that were going on at the time. And my dad had an opportunity, or would have liked the opportunity, to become a master electrician. But my uncle decided, you know what, it's best if you go in another direction for a career. Not that he did. Nielsen, I don't have a translator on my screen, but all I'm hoping is that what you're saying, let's see, amo esa programa, obviously that's program, so I know that word, but thank you for chiming in. John, if you can interpret that, do your best, because I have no idea, but I know it's all good stuff, because I love a Nielsen. They're always in there every once in a while. So, all right. So beginning in the late 19th century, as the trade union and labor movements grew, trade unionists proposed the day should be set aside to celebrate labor. So Labor Day was promoted by the Central Labor Union and the Knights of Labor. That's right, which organized the first parade in New York City. Now, trivia question for you, John. What state in the Union in 1887 was the first state in the United States to make it official a public holiday for Labor Day? What state? You only have 50 some odd choices.
Okay, it was either New Jersey or New York.
It was, you're close.
Or Philadelphia.
It was Oregon, believe it or not. Oregon was.
Yeah, but at that time, I think there was only 12 people that lived in Oregon.
Well, they obviously voted unanimously, so they became a holiday there. By the time it became official federal holiday in 1894, 30 states in the U.S. officially began celebrating Labor Day. And of course, Canada's Labor Day is celebrated on the first Monday of September as well. More than 150 countries celebrate International Workers' Day, which is May 1st. All right. Two stories as to how this holiday may have actually gotten off the ground. Story number one, P.J. McGuire. He was vice president of the American Federation of Labor and is frequently credited as the father of Labor Day in the U.S. According to one early history of Labor Day, the event that he organized was in connection with the General Assembly of the Knights of Labor, which I mentioned earlier, in New York City in September of 1882. In connection with the clandestine Knights Assembly, a public parade of various labor organizations was held on September 5th, under the auspices of the Central Labor Union. Because of all of this is why this gentleman got his story number one. Now, an alternate theory is where P.J. McGuire comes in. He was vice president of the American Federation of Labor, and after he paid a visit to Toronto, where he saw parades celebrating labor in May, when they did that up there on May 1st, he put forward the initial proposal in the spring of 1882 for the United States. On May 8th, 1882, he made the proposition to the fledgling Central Labor Union in New York City that day should be set aside for general holiday for laboring classes. Okay. According to McGuire, he further recommended that the event should begin with a street parade as a public demonstration of organized labor solidarity and strength, and the march followed by a picnic. So the funny thing is, there's two different stories. And given the fact that the month of September was taken or was used, was because A, the weather was still relatively good to still be outside and do all those picnics and parades and everything else. But it was also a good point to be sitting somewhere in between the 4th of July holiday and Thanksgiving. September was kind of like that midpoint to kind of get things rolling for the holiday season. In 1909, the American Federation of Labor Convention designated the Sunday preceding Labor Day as Labor Sunday. However, everybody decided that it was time that they wanted a long weekend. Hence, it was then moved to a Monday, therefore the 3-day weekend. Let's see, legal recognition, a couple of more items, and then we'll get going to our first break so we can get to honoring Wayne. As I mentioned, 1887, Oregon was the first state to make it Labor Day an official holiday. 30 states adopted it by 1894. Now, President Grover Cleveland signed the bill into law on June 28th. The federal law, however, only made it a holiday for federal workers. As late as the 1930s, though, unions were encouraging workers to strike to make sure that they also got the day off for Labor Day. All U.S. states, the District of Columbia, and the United States territories have subsequently made Labor Day a statutory holiday. Labor Day became a holiday shortly after the Pullman strike in the United States. Now, we talked about this earlier. Labor Day. This is pretty cool and fun, interesting stuff. Labor Day, of course, we mentioned, is the unofficial end of summer, right? We know September, or what is spring? September 21st, October 21st, whenever fall starts. I don't remember those days. When you're in Vegas, you forget about holidays.
I think the official start of fall is the 21st of September.
See, when you're in Vegas, you don't have seasons, so you kind of forget these things. I have to retrain
They have
myself.
morning and afternoon and night. That's it.
That's it. The only seasons you have, right? Exactly. Okay, so why was Labor Day dubbed the unofficial end of summer? Do you have any reason, any thought on that, John?
Yeah, that's when kids went back to school. No, didn't it have something to do with the harvests and from the farmlands? And
you should have stopped while you were ahead with your first answer. Labor Day is called the unofficial end of summer because it marks the end of the U.S. culture's nominal summer season. Many take their 2-week vacations during the 2 weeks ending Labor Day weekend. Many fall activities such as school and sports, usually football, begin right around that time. In the U.S., many school districts resume classes around the Labor Day holiday weekend, usually the day after, like the Tuesday after, or in some cases in Vegas, before the heat doesn't get too hot in May, they start a couple of weeks before. So some begin the week before, making Labor Day weekend the first 3-day weekend of the school calendar. The first couple of months of school students love because you're hardly in school because of Labor Day, November between Veterans Day and voting and Thanksgiving, and it's crazy. Now, this I thought was interesting. In the U.S., Virginia, my home state now, the amusement park industry had successfully lobbied for legislation requiring most school districts in the state to have their first day of school after Labor Day in order to give families another weekend to visit amusement parks here in the state of Virginia. The relevant statute had been nicknamed the King's Dominion Law after one such park, but sorry to say, folks, the law was repealed in 2019. Imagine that, huh? We're not in too many.
There are amusement parks in Virginia.
Sure, right along the water. Sure, you got all the amusement rides and stuff. Sure.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Right. In the U.S., Minnesota, the state fair ends on Labor Day. This does kind of coincide with what you suggested. Under state law, public schools normally do not begin until after holiday in Minnesota. After the holiday, one reason given for this timing was to allow time for school children to show their 4-H projects for the fair. And if you don't know what 4-H is, it's an agricultural organization. So you were there. Of course, sports. Listen, you've got NCAA college football. The NFL kicks up. NASCAR is underway this weekend. Hot Rod Association. You've got Flushing Meadows, the Open Tennis. So this weekend is busy that way. Last but not least, fashion. Growing up, John, when was it believed that you stopped wearing white clothes and white shoes?
Labor Day.
Labor Day weekend, that's right. And also, it was the last day when it was acceptable to wear white or something called, this is going to be another trivia question for you, John. What is a seersucker pattern? Seersucker.
It's kind of a striped, ridged kind of piece of fabric.
Very good, Mr. John. They classified as the source of tradition lies in part with the migration of the seersucker because it is the lined outfits up and down, and you can look it up on Wikipedia. And the funny thing is that pattern still gleefully exists today, right? I bet, Chief, did you have a seersucker suit growing up? I have a funny feeling you had a seersucker suit. I don't know why. I can see you in seersucker. Samuel Gompers was the first president of the AFL from 1886 to 1894. I didn't know he was the half of the NFL commissioner. No, I'm only kidding. The NFL CIO. Oh, and the wingtips. Oh, my God, yes. So here's the other thing. So let's see.
Chief, I want to find out, do you know what Winkle Pickler shoes are?
I'm sure if he doesn't, I'd be surprised. Chief knows everything. Are you kidding me?
Do you know what they are? Aaron, do you know what they are?
I do not.
Okay.
Don't give it away until he does.
No. I'm going to wait and see if he knows what they are. Yeah.
So here's some other fashion things, and then we are going to go to break. So, 19th century. Thank God, I know. The source of the tradition about not wearing white lies in part with the migration of wealthy 19th century New Yorkers who came back from their summer home, Newport mansions, and accompanying change back from summer clothes. The traditional last day to wear straw hats moved from around Labor Day, September 1st to September 15th. In 1922, the Straw Hat Riot broke out due to groups snatching the hats of men violating this rule in New York City. The unofficial beginning of summer and the summer fashion season in the United States, the unofficial is what? Memorial Day weekend. In the 2020s, some people have approved of wearing white year round. And of course, last but not least, what would Labor Day be without your traditional Labor Day sales? Back to school, you've got car shopping, you've got everything. Now, of course, online, you got Amazon, you got everything, Labor Day sales. That, ladies and gentlemen, does it for your history lesson on Labor Day. Whatever you decide to do, please do it safely, do it fun, enjoy your family time, whatever it is, because I want to see you back here next week enjoying Aaron's Hour and all the stuff here that we do. All right, with that, it is time. We're running a few minutes behind. We're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, we're going to start sharing some love to Wayne Worley, co-host, entertainer, and theater master extraordinaire. We'll be back. You're watching Aaron's Hour. Don't go anywhere.
Are you feeling overwhelmed or stressed? Remember to take a moment for your mental health. At the Mental Health Moment, we believe in the power of self-care and community support. Our mission is to encourage and empower individuals across generations to prioritize their mental well-being. Our program called CARE takes you through community, awareness, resources, and education so we can support you every step of the way. Join us at the Mental Health Moment. Visit our website or follow us on social media because your mental health matters. Remember, take a moment for your mental health.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training needs.
Book him, Dano.
What'd you say?
I said, book him, Dano.
Welcome, Dano. That's right. Hey, a couple of things before we get into the thing with Wayne. By the way, if you're within the sound of my voice here in the Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Suffolk, Portsmouth area, wherever, you can come out and please check out the September 11th Remembrance Service at the Chesapeake City Park, 8:30 a.m. The Chesapeake Kiwanis Club will be there serving coffee and some light drinks. But more importantly, the color card will be there. There'll be some speakers from around honoring and remembering those who lost their lives September 11th in New York City, and of course in Pennsylvania and all around. The people who are still losing their lives, first responders and such, who now from the effects of being down there are losing their lives. So if you're within the area or coming to Virginia Beach and want to do something that day, please, September 11th, 8:30 a.m., Chesapeake City Park here in the Chesapeake area. Lastly, I forgot to mention this about Labor Day, then we'll get into it. You folks there in Las Vegas, hope you guys are battening down the hatches because this weekend you are expecting, according to the RJ, I picked up their article today, there it is, off the line. You guys are expecting about 331,000 visitors this weekend, and I'm sure you will. It's always been that way. Tourism official projects that visitors saying farewell to summer in Las Vegas this weekend will directly spend $417 million, which is almost a 13% increase over last year's revenue spending. You can check that information out on the RJ there, back there. So 330,000 people. You guys, what, John, about 105, 106 degree temperatures now?
Yeah, we're down in the low hundreds.
Low hundreds?
We're all getting ready to dig out our long sleeve shirts.
Well, keep it just a tad warm for when I get out there so I can enjoy the pool at least.
Got it.
Chief says, yes, sir. Aren't they the ones that came up around your ankles and had 6 or 7 cross laces? I believe they were called Matthias Winkler shoes.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Of course, I knew Chief would know it. All right. With that, so I get a message about 5, 6, 7 years ago from a lady by the name of Tema Hammond. I've interviewed her a few times. Folks may know her here on the WWDB TV network, but she was the founder of GoldenNetwork.tv, which is a network that is designed for content for those 50 and over. And you can find it online. You can find it out there on Roku as well. So I get a call from Tema a handful of years ago. She found my stuff on LinkedIn and she says, hey, I want to talk to you about getting involved with the network and maybe co-hosting a show. And I have some things in mind. Okay. Well, shortening the story, we created a show called Keep Talking, and it was an improv show. Not unlike Whose Line Is It Anyway, in that we had to think off the top of our head. Nothing was scripted. Nothing was given to us ahead of time. We didn't have props or anything, although I wish we did. So Tema had two other individuals lined up to do the show with myself. One, her name was Kitty Schuler. She's there in Vegas. She's a teacher. She's an actress as well, and someone that I've spoken about, we've talked about. But then the third individual was this guy, Wayne Worley. And I'd never met either of these two individuals before. And we went over the premise of the show. And of all the people in the room, with all the years that I've been doing this, I was in the room with the least amount of experience doing really anything in front of the camera in terms of an acting or taking on that kind of role. Well, the premise of the show was it was a 15-minute little show. We had different topics. My role was just kind of keep the conversation going. If for those of you sports fans out there know of a show called PTI, Pardon the Interruption, on ESPN, it's a back and forth, or not PTI, Around the Horn, where you have multiple people talking about topics and one person just kind of keeps the conversation going. That was my job. But then as the show morphed, Wayne and I, we became the bookend comedy routine, and poor Kitty was sitting in the middle. She was kind of like, and John, you saw us do some of these. Kitty was like the ringleader. She was like the older sister trying to keep everybody composed.
So that mom and dad didn't kick your butts.
Correct. Right. Wayne and I would be the ones that would be breaking the lamps in the living room playing football, and she'd be the one saying, I told you not to do that. And so Wayne and I, we hit off a great chemistry. And when Golden, then the pandemic hit and things kind of slowed down for everybody, Keep Talking was trying to come back with different premises. And then unfortunately, we had gotten word that Wayne was starting not to feel well. But then he got better. He went traveling and lived life. And unfortunately, he passed away last week at the age of 69. 6 days ago, after succumbing to his illness after a couple of years. But what I wanted to do today, and I have some information, and I'm hoping if you have stories out there about Wayne, and I know some folks in Chicago worked with him a lot because he's from that area. I posted this on their page. Hopefully we'll get some stuff for them as well. Love to hear some stories. But in the meantime, what I want to do is just share a little snippet of stuff from this show, Keep Talking, so you kind of get a sense of Wayne's background, his knowledge, his off-the-cuff humor and ability to just kind of make you laugh. He's one of those guys, quite frankly, John, and I think if I'm wrong by saying this, please correct me. Wayne could walk into the room and give you just any facial expression, and you could start laughing anyway because you could immediately figure out what's churning in his mind because he just had that aura, right?
You could almost hear it.
Yeah, exactly. So
you can almost hear the expressions on his face.
Right. And that's hard to do. Think about that, folks. Hear the expressions on his face. And you just knew he was thinking steps ahead of the moment, planning. But when he's locked in that moment, for him to have that statement and make that comment for whatever it is, he was zoned in better than anybody could ever be. So with that, no particular order. I sent John a couple of episodes. We didn't chop them up because time was not there for us to do that. So we're going to play, we're going to fade, we'll play, we'll fade. So at least one of them, John, the first one, let's at least play the intro so people know all the players, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here you go. Here's a little bit of a show. Keep Talking, featuring Wayne Worley, Kitty Schuler, and myself. Take it away.
For the pickle?
Pickles? I'd like to introduce my partners today. Let's start with Kitty. How are you? Kitty, introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm so good, Aaron. Yes, my name is Kitty, and it's such a fabulous day, and I can't wait to get talking with my partners here because you just never know what's going to come up. It could be it could be any one of a number of things. Maybe surprises, maybe just secrets that we don't really want to tell, but all of a sudden they come out. You know how that goes.
Yeah, that'll be great, and I'm anxious to hear about the secrets myself. Anyway, let's bring in our third chat partner to Keep Talking. Wayne, say hello to everybody.
Hey, Aaron. Hi, Kitty. It's great to be with you both. I'm Wayne, and I'm really excited about Keep Talking because it's not only a chance for us to share conversations, but it's also a chance for you guys out there, our viewers, to talk. Thank you for being here, and I'm excited to get started.
Right on. Thank you, Wayne. And Kitty, it's going to be a lot of fun talking about today's topic. And I'll tell you what, here's the great thing. What we do here, we're going to talk about with our I want to share a little insight. You don't have to change the screen. So we started filming this at another studio before WWDB TV and Golden Network came together. And so it was the pandemic era when we started the show. And we didn't have the technology to be in 3 different locations. So we were at a home studio. We were sitting 6 feet apart from each other, together, next to each other, okay? But we needed to give the appearance, because of the pandemic and everything, that we were in separate locations. And so we were sitting in captain's or director's chairs 6 feet from each other, filmed it, as you see. And as you see, what they also did was they cropped in our green screen behind us 3 different rooms so that people would think we were in different rooms in our own homes. But because of the hardest part, John, you could probably attest to this, when you've got somebody 6 feet sitting next to you on either side. I felt bad for Kitty because she was bookended, and not do this when you want to talk to them. What do you mean? Oh, crap, we're on TV. I forgot we're not supposed to be next to each other. That was the hardest thing to do, is not want to turn while you had to remind yourself, no, I'm in another house. And so that was acting on top of everything else. All right, keep going.
Because you could not see what was being filmed. In other words, you couldn't see the 3 of you up there. All you could see was
the camera.
Yeah.
All we saw, it was the 3 shots. We had our 1 camera. We did not have any monitors. So peripherally, I was able to have some context, but not a whole lot, because I had to keep fighting myself. Don't turn, don't turn. In my mouth is smiling, but I'm saying, don't turn, don't turn, don't turn. But it was fun. But if memory serves, I believe this was episode 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, this is episode 1, season 1.
And one of the test conversations that Temba did with the 3 of us came together on a Zoom call months before this. And she said, all I want you guys to do is to talk about a pickle. Pickle, that's it. That's all she told us. And we had such a blast doing it that she decided to make it the same topic in season 1, episode 1. Go ahead.
Special guests that we have here with us, both Kitty and Wayne. We're going to talk about the things, as I said before, that, we take for granted but never looked at the brighter side. So Kitty, Wayne, what do you say we get started?
Great.
Let's do it.
All right, so here's our topic of the day. What challenges do we have today that we didn't have yesterday? Or challenges of yesterday that perhaps we don't have today? Kitty, why don't we start with you? What comes to mind for you?
Challenges. Well, my biggest challenge right now is the internet. I don't know. I mean, I didn't grow up with the internet, and boy, oh boy, it's been a real challenge for me. How about you, Wayne? Are you the same pickle?
Pickles?
Yeah, pickles.
Where did pickles come in?
I don't know, but I can tell you my biggest challenge would be hair.
Hey.
Except I will say that I, like Aaron, am not experiencing hair loss. I'm just follically challenged. My dad used to always say, if you're bald in the front, you're a thinker, and if you're bald in the back, you're a lover. And if you're bald all over, you think you're a lover. So I don't know what to think.
Amen. Amen, Wayne. I can certainly account for this. As a matter of fact, I tell people that I'm a solar panel sex machine. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But here's the thing that I always loved. Growing up as a kid, I don't know if you guys had televisions when you were kids, but I did. I was the human remote for my dad, and I love remote controls now because you know what? That walking back and forth, though good cardio, I'm happy that I can control my TV with my phone or remotes. How about you guys?
Yeah, remote. I mean, that has changed my life for sure. That part of the internet part of it, I like. I mean, that's fun. So
where would we be without internet? Sorry, Wayne.
It's okay. All the electronics today are mind-boggling. Because I keep telling people all the time, I remember when a party line was a totally different thing than it is now.
Yeah,
and I keep wondering if they even make phones that are just phones anymore. So
you talking about the old?
The old you got it.
I don't think so anymore. I think they replaced that not only with the numbers, but now it's push button. If you had that at that time, how about a telephone booth? Do you guys remember telephone booths?
Of course.
I'm from Metropolis, Illinois, the home of Superman.
Oh.
And we had plenty of telephone booths back then.
All right, let's hold it there for 1 second. It's funny. I think during the commercial break when we were doing this, after he made that comment, I turned to him and I said, I thought you looked like Lex Luger. Lex Luthor. Lex Luger was a wrestler. Lex Luthor. But I want folks to just focus on Wayne's smile here. Okay, because I don't think anytime we filmed the show, every time he finished a comment, he always ended with that smile. And it's so great because he had such a joy for life. Now, fortunately, I took this from, as a matter of fact, I want to give a shout out to David Condon. He is the administrator of this group that I posted in, which I mentioned earlier, the Theater on the Lake in Chicago. It was a reunion. They all were talking about Wayne. They have pictures of him, and I posted some on the promo post. I just reminded him that we're doing this live today, so I'm hoping that he could call in, or somebody would call in and chat about Wayne. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go back to that comment and put our phone number in there. Anyway, so it's just kind of interesting what is out there right now. And let's go to another clip, if you would, please. Let's keep it rolling. Anyway, that's a topic for another show. So, Kitty, let me ask you this question. Today, it is what it is. We have internet now. We have control. But what today would you wish you had back then when you were growing up that was a challenge?
What do I have right now that I would have liked back then?
Don't answer my question with the question.
I'm trying to think about that.
That's called a stall, ladies and gentlemen.
I guess that is a stall, and I'm having a hard time coming up with something on that. Ask Wayne. He knows everything.
So why don't you say pass? You'll pass it to Wayne.
I'll pass to Wayne.
And I will accept.
Okay.
You know, I wish when I were younger and in college and studying theater that I had the internet where I could Google everything instead of spending countless hours at the library doing research and reading and researching and reading. Now, if I want to see what the 50s clothing style is, I look up the year and look up fashion and it shows me. So that's one of the things that I didn't have when I was a kid that I could really have used. All right, let's fade it out there, John. Let's put that on hold as we're winding down. We're going to get ready to go to a break. Let me just share here, though, that he was a talented director, actor, choreographer. In Chicago, he was involved with at Reese Park with plays Played Again, Sam, and 1,000 Clowns, and also Chase Park out there, and a show called Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean. Wow. He also, the gentleman, the person who wrote this, wanted to become a producer, but he didn't know how to produce musicals. But with Wayne's support, he was able to get his first musical off the ground, and Wayne was sort of known as the Bob Fosse out there of the Chicago Park District back in the 70s and 80s. So, listen, I put it in my post when news broke that I found out that he passed. And, I didn't know him for 20, 30, 40 years. I knew him for half a dozen years, 6, 7 years. But just the way he touched people in his humor and in his heart and his desire to help others be better in the theatrical world is something that when I read Tuesday, I was doing a workout. And after the workout, I saw a text message from Kitty, and I couldn't drive out of the parking lot because my heart sank reading this, that he had passed away. So a legend for sure. And, Wayne and his family will keep in mind. But anyway, more stories, more stuff to come. I want to step aside for our last break of the show. We'll show a little more of Wayne doing Keep Talking. We'll pick another episode, run a few minutes, get some more stories. And you know what? If we end a few minutes early, hey, 12 o'clock kickoff for Penn State and West Virginia. Cash at the beach at the bottom of the hour for me. And everybody else will enjoy. So don't go anywhere. A little more to come. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas, and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training needs.
Hi, I'm John P.G. Stiles. Some people call me JPEG. You can probably guess why. I'm the founder and partner at WWDB TV. Does your business need a commercial, or do you already have one and you just want to get the message out there? Do you need a sizzle reel? Do you need an audition tape for a part that you're up for? Or have you ever thought about hosting your own show? Well, this is the place, WWDB TV.
Are you feeling overwhelmed or stressed? Remember to take a moment for your mental health. At the Mental Health Moment, we believe in the power of self-care and community support. Our mission is to encourage and empower individuals across generations to prioritize their mental well-being. Our program called CARE takes you through community, awareness, resources, and education so we can support you every step of the way. Join us at the Mental Health Moment. Visit our website or follow us on social media because your mental health matters. Remember, take a moment for your mental health.
All right, welcome back. Just a quick note as well. I believe Thoughts Count Anywhere is coming up after the show. I'm sure Matt and company are there. They're going to be talking about at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
12 9 okay.
10 o'clock Pacific.
10 o'clock Pacific time.
Sin Bodhi says 10 a.m. Pacific Coast time.
There you go. Sin Bodhi. Matter of fact, he'll be one of the folks that we'll see at WrestleConnect September 14th, which is why I'm bringing this up. A little segue. Hey, if you don't have your tickets, you're a wrestling fan, sports fan, memorabilia fan, get down to Tuscany September 14th for the WrestleConnect show, autograph show. There's a boatload, dozens of pro wrestlers from Ted DiBiase to April Hom from Glow. You have to check it out. Go to WrestleConnect, WrestleConnex. Tickets are, I think, like $10 from 10 until 4, 10 until 5, something like that. I am coming in from Virginia Beach. I have the honor of hosting again for Scott's 4th show. I'm delighted that I'm able to come out there, see all my friends for the show, even John, and we'll get out there. So come on out, check it out. WrestleConnect, again, September 14th, 10 a.m. And again, programming note, at 10 a.m. Pacific, join Thoughts Count Anywhere with Matt and his guys, Ryan. I'm not sure who's there today with them, but I know they're going to be talking about Bash in Berlin, which is coming on at 12:30 Eastern time. There's only like 5 or 6 matches. It's a small card. It'll be fun and electric, so check them out. All right, let's get back to Wayne. So Wayne, again, check him out. Wayne Worley, you can search him online. His work in choreography, his mind is great. What was your impressions of Wayne when we first met together at the studio for you over there on East Sahara? What was your impressions? What were some of your experiences and stories with Wayne, John?
I thought he should be locked up.
He probably was. He was probably out on good behavior.
He was my kind of people. It just and I remember there were a couple of instances where we were trying to come up with some ideas and playing with some ideas on how to do different things and change the show up and shit. And it was really kind of crappy. I mean, everybody was kind of like, man, but Wayne always had a way of turning that around and making us laugh at ourselves and stuff. And I really enjoyed that about him. I mean, he was just the kind of guy that, when he comes in, you knew that there was going to be some fun to be had.
That's a great point. That's great because I remember those conversations where, and I'm the newbie, and me being the newbie at that table when we had some of those discussions and conversations, it was sort of hard. Not hard, but it was sort of a new experience for me in a way to be sitting there, shall we say, around a table of artists to discuss ideas and such, and to be able to listen to some of those things. And I just put this up to honor Wayne over here. You can see which one he was. He should have had his hands on his mouth, by the way. I don't know why I was the one that way, but Wayne certainly should have had that. But he was great because he helped teach me, because I was being asked to do something a little bit different that I was not used to doing. I mean, I'm used to hosting. I'm used to more or less staying in a character and kind of delving off to be silly and goofy, but try to absorb in some of the ideas that we were doing and trying to come up with a brand new character, almost like in a sitcom style, was sort of new for me. And he worked with me and was patient to try to get me into the right frame of mind, as was Kitty and Tema and you and everybody around that table. But to do what he does and what Atema does and what you do, I mean, not to the extent of what, let's say, directing, although you will be with directing a picture, I understand, coming soon.
Coming soon to a theater near you. God help us.
But to have patience and be able to get your point across in a way, Wayne was a natural at that. Wayne had such a great ability to get into somebody else's mind and help get the concept.
Wayne was the type of person that would slap you upside the head with humor. Right?
He'd kiss you square around the lips right after hitting you.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, it's like he would say something and it was just like he had slapped you, but in a funny way. And,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for that experience, I will be grateful to have learned the humility of acting. That's, you know what, that's, I think, really what it is. You have to, and again, we hear these stories about these big divas and egotistical actors and actresses, but to be an actor, to do what I do, to do what you do, to whatever, we are all actors to some degree. And you have to put some humility off to the side and not let yourself get in the way to be the best version you could be to deliver whatever you're asked to do.
Yep.
And Wayne had a way of making that happen. All right, let's pick one of the other episodes. I don't care which one you have queued up. Let's pick number 3. I don't care. Whichever one you have ready to go. We'll watch a little bit of that one. Honey, the doorbell. Your Botox is here.
Oh, no.
Anyway. Physical change, she's going to kill me when she sees this. Anyway, physical changes do happen to all of us over the years, but the question is, what are some of the changes? And quite frankly, do we want to deal with it or do we want to do something to change it? Now, I know our panel here, and I'm not saying that they've had anything done to themselves, but I can certainly tell you that they probably have a comment or two on both of these. So for today, for this question, let's start with Wayne because he's long-winded and let's get it out of his system. Wayne.
Well, Aaron, I really appreciate you starting with me. You can take a break. I can handle the rest of it since I'm long-winded. But seriously, as we age up, we all know we don't wear the same size as we used to. So buying clothes is always a little bit different. And I guess one of the things that I would have to comment on is when people get of a certain age, even if it's the trend, maybe you shouldn't wear it. Maybe leave it to your daughter or your grandkid.
He was trying to say so politically correct in that comment, John.
Aren't the fashions that are the most complimentary for us. And I'm living proof. And I'll shut up and let Aaron talk.
Well, something that really just occurred to me a little bit ago is that I didn't realize my ears keep growing. How can that be? I mean, I used to have really, little ears. Now they're kind of like, I don't know. They're growing. And I've heard that your nose grows. It keeps growing too. I keep wondering what I'm really going to look like in 10 years. Oh my gosh. I mean, really, I might be all ears and nose. I mean, come on.
Well, Kitty, my only problem is not that my ears and nose are growing, but the hairs in them are. And I don't know where that came from.
Well, Wayne, the hairs there make you more aerodynamic, so that's okay.
Probably true.
Could it be your ears because of earrings over the years? Seriously. I mean,
well, never thought of that.
But
actually, I did Google it, and it does say that our ears and nose do keep growing.
Wow.
The other thing that I've noticed.
I guess there's a little Pinocchio in all of us, huh?
So you listen, folks. I don't know if you caught it, but I reacted in my own mind to a comment that was going on right there, and I don't recall if it came out or not. But when it comes to things growing, you can imagine where my mind went, and I think I was kind of waiting for Wayne to pick up on it. And as it hit me, and it wasn't happening, I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep this one to myself because Kitty, I love Kitty to death. And I wasn't sure in certain episodes how far or how I can go because Kitty's a great lady. She's very straight-laced in a lot of ways, and yet behind there are a lot of ways she'll be right in there with very proper. Thank you. Yeah. But she's also not afraid to go into the locker room conversation. But not knowing Kitty as well, I'm sitting there going, okay, I don't want to disrespect this woman, and I don't want her to be mad, so I kept that comment in, but. Yeah, that was an interesting conversation. Go ahead, keep going. I don't remember how much is in here, but go ahead.
It's really mostly about my teeth. I'm losing teeth. How can this be?
I was going to say they were growing? What?
No, they're not growing. And I haven't found any pimples on any of them yet lately. But in any case, it's just, the whole idea that my molars, I'm having a hard time chewing. I'm going to have to get those implants. So that would be the first thing that I would do different to what my aging body is doing is getting those.
I wish I could remember.
Well,
I wish I could remember what episode it was. You can pause it here. Good morning, Julie. I don't remember what episode we did it in. Kitty talked about, I want to say it was about fish. Her fish died or something. We're on the topic of pets. And we got into, I think it was one of the later episodes. I don't think it was one that I sent you, John. Wayne and I, for 15 minutes, the entire episode, we just could not let this go about Kitty's fish. And if I can find it, I'll send it to you, because Wayne was off the charts. Wayne was so hysterical in this. It was crazy. It was crazy good. But just Wayne's ability to think off the top of his head and share stories and make people laugh and really make them relevant to the topic was really an art. Either go with this one, or if you want to pull up one last episode and pull something in, and then we'll wrap it up. Whatever you want to do.
He was an incredible improv guy.
He was. He was great. He was absolutely great. So here is today's topic. With everything going on in society, we know health, guys, is of concern. But of course, there's always the wives' tale remedies versus today's remedies. So we're going to have a little fun reminiscing and getting thoughts of some of the old-time remedies. So I know, Wayne, this is right up your alley from the golden age, isn't it?
Well, actually, I do have a little bit of knowledge in this. I'm from the South, and if you got sick, nothing cured sick better than chicken soup.
Oh, you have nailed it. Kitty, what is your thought on the wives' tale of how chicken soup does make you feel better?
I don't think it's a wives' tale. I think it's really true. And I think a lot has to do with the fact that somebody's making that soup for you or bringing it to you. It's not just the soup, it's the person that's helping you.
Look at Wayne's face.
People make it for you?
Well, yeah, they don't make it for you, Wayne.
You know who
Campbell's does.
I was just going to say, Mrs. Campbell makes his.
Yes, but if we're talking old-time remedies, there was no Campbell's then, if we're going back to that far.
Now, of course, inside chicken soup, you also have the famous matzo balls. Those are very good, too.
Absolutely.
I have stunned the
I
audience
stunned them with
that one, ladies
matzo
and
balls. Did you notice how quiet they got?
Yeah. And that, oh my God, he's not going to go there, is he?
That right? Anyway, so chicken soup has always been one of those wives' tales. So let's go fast forward to the next, 40, 50, 60, 100 years since that wives' tale. In your mind, guys, let me ask you, what substitutes for chicken soup today, in your mind, in today's environment?
Prescription drugs.
Tequila.
Wayne went right
they
for
smell
it.
like chicken soup, right?
I don't care what they smell like.
Kitty, what do you think?
Well, I don't know. The first thing that came to my mind was apple cider vinegar, but what can I say? I mean, I drink apple cider vinegar every single day.
I was going to ask, is that to drink or is that to rub on your chest? I wasn't sure.
My chest?
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking like Vicks Vapor Rub, which is a nice segue. Did you know horseradish, there's another wives' tale, was believed to do the same thing as we know Vicks today? Horseradish rubbed on the chest. Did you guys know that?
No.
Well, I know that horseradish stinks just like Vicks.
Yes. Depends on the strength of the horseradish. Right?
Yeah, I guess so.
But it is believed that
Let's cut it off
believe
there.
or not. Those are just little snippets of how Wayne can just lend himself to the immediate moment, and just that smile, I think, is such a contagious smile that no matter what you could be talking about, he will find a way to bring joy to it.
Well, one thing about that too is that it was genuine.
Absolutely.
When he smiled, you knew he was smiling. He wasn't just putting on, or trying to smile to look good or whatever. But yeah, because if he didn't want to smile, he didn't smile.
No, and it's so funny in that last clip before we started talking, you could see his face about the chicken soup. He kind of got that like what's that character's name from Jeff? The dummy, Jesus, Jeff Dunham.
Oh,
Walter. He looked like Walter there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But his face, what I noticed, and I'm going to give a quick little segue here to wrestling for a moment. Paul Heyman is one of the best managers in wrestling, one of the best minds in pro wrestling. He could tell a story at ringside by simply facial expressions. Okay. Yeah. He responds and reacts in a way without having to say a word. His body language, his facial expressions can tell a story. And Wayne was that way. He could tell a story just by his facial expression, his smile, whatever it was. and you knew exactly the story that he was going to talk about. So with that, Wayne, we're going to miss.
You know who else does that?
Who else?
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Oh, that's a stretch. Mr. Bean and Wayne, you're putting those two together?
No, I'm saying that
Oh,
he had his way of doing the same thing. But
Gotcha.
anyway.
Gotcha. Wayne, you will be missed, my friend. Keep
For
talking
sure.
will never be the same, but we also know that in the afterlife, while you're standing at the see, I wish I would have asked him this question.
Yeah.
You know, what the maitre d' would have said to him at the pearly gates upon his entry, and I know what the answer would be. He would look at Wayne and simply say, "Keep talking." There you have it. Perfect. All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for making time today with me and allowing myself and John to kind of reminisce a little bit about Wayne. And he will be missed. Now, Labor Day weekend, please be safe. Enjoy your family. Enjoy whatever it is you're going to do, whether you're on a little vacation, you're going to hang out by the pool. Just watch yourself and be safe. Next week's show will be kind of focusing in on remembering why we honor and remember September 11th. Those you remember last week, I talked about being in New York City. I'm hoping to get a couple of people on to talk about September 11th because we seem to forget that from September 12th through September 10th every year. And then when it comes around for September 11th, everybody hypes up and then we forget. So we're going to talk a little bit about that next week. And, we'll take your thoughts on that. All right. With that, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget, in 1 hour, Thoughts Count Anywhere. Wrestling, Bash in Berlin's coming up at 12:30 Eastern. Lots of matches that the guys will talk about. Be kind to everybody. Why? We are all we have. We'll see you next week right here on Aaron's Hour, Coast to Coast. Thank you for watching.